What's going on, everybody? This is Mortym, and today I wanted to share with you basically just how I really enjoy playing The Witcher 3. And it focuses almost entirely on signs, the foremost of which being Igni. Quinn is important too, and you use the others, but the primary focus is on Igni and basically just lighting everything on fire. Now, of the 4 skills for Igni, we're going to focus on the first one, and then the second to last one, which is... The second to last one is just raw Igni sign intensity. And the first one is Melt Armor. Damage done by Igni permanently weakens enemy armor up to 75%, provided your sign intensity is that high. Now we're going to go over the individual skills that I pick up. Those are the main 2. Also, you want to use Quinn a lot just because there are fights where you cannot light the enemy on fire, and Quinn helps a lot in getting through those fights, as does Yrden, so we pick up those as well. But let's start with the basic. There are the general Witcher skills, which you can get a bunch of, and personally I like to use Rage Management, which if your current stamina level is too low, you can use signs using Adrenaline. Griffin School Techniques, which causes the medium armor you wear to give you more sign intensity. And then the last one, just raw vitality increase, mostly just to help keep you alive. As you can see here, we are using the greater blue mutagens in all 4 mutagen slots to get the maximum amount of sign intensity out of our skills. But for the first one here, we have our Melt Armor from the Igni tree, which is probably the most important one. Far-reaching Ard, just because that is useful in knocking things down sometimes, because there are monsters where, with this much sign intensity, you can basically just put them on the ground with Ard and one-shot them and move on. Axii Sign, which is mostly just for dialogues. There's only a couple skills you really need here, so at some point you're going to have to pick up just extra sign skills just to proc the sign intensity off the greater blue mutagens. And moving down here, we have Ard intensity. As I said, you mostly just need it to keep proccing the sign intensity, and you will be using Ard fairly often with this. Igni sign intensity, which is one of the main 2 we're talking about with this build. Yrden sign, I just like to be able to put more than one trap down. This helps primarily with the actual boss fights as you're progressing through the game. It's one of the best tactics with this build, with boss fights, is to put Yrden down. Light them on fire, since most of them won't stand still while they're burning. They will continue to move around, unlike the lower level characters who, while they're burning, they're basically paralyzed. But this will slow them down and allow you to keep casting those. And then for our last bit, we use Exploding Shield from the Quinn sign, because you will be using Quinn fairly often, as this is a stamina-focused build for The Witcher 3. So when it breaks, it deals damage and has a chance of knocking enemies down when they break through your Quinn shield. Pick up Yrden. This is fun because whenever an enemy is in your Yrden's trap, it will slowly drain their life. It's a great little tidbit for this build. And then lastly, just raw Quinn sign intensity. As you can see, we've racked up a ton of sign intensity here, but with having the Griffin School technique, the particular armor that I really recommend is the Wolf set, which you can find through one of the side quests. Not really going to cover it here, but it gives a lot of passive sign intensity just through having the set on, as well as proccing that Griffin School Techniques perk to give you even more sign intensity. Which, as you can see down here, our sign intensity is kind of ridiculous. Now, with all of those little details out of the way, I kind of want to show you just why I consider it so incredibly overpowered. And we're going to go find some enemies, and I'll show you just that. Okay guys, so here we are at a few enemies, and I want to show you exactly why I really just love doing this. So here they come. You light them on fire. Your Igni sign has ridiculous range at this point. And then most things are so susceptible to burning And this has basically, because of your sign intensity, such a high chance that you can just sit back and watch them burn. And it's actually important to sit back and watch them burn, because if you hit them, the burning effect actually stops. And all you really need to do at this point is dodge and move around. But as you can see, if you hit them, the burning effect will immediately stop. So it's actually best to just hang out and watch them burn. And that, guys, is pretty much the whole reason I really love to play The Witcher 3 this way. As I've noted, for bosses it is a little more difficult. You have to focus a bit more on using Yrden and Quinn to get through it, and it helps to know the mechanics, so, look them up. But I really enjoy this build. I hope you guys too. If you like the content, please subscribe. But I hope you guys have a great day either way.